saying these ladies have been with me for a while, and I call them the goats because they've really done a lot more than just conquered their weight loss journeys. They've hit many milestones and continue to learn on their journeys. So without further ado, I want to introduce Joe over here to my right. Oris, how do I say him? I don't
Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Dittman. They're both from Las Vegas, Nevada, and they coach with me online. And they've, as I said, they've been with me for over a year. So I wanted to get them on here to talk to you guys a little bit about their journey and give you all an opportunity to ask them questions. So which one of you wants to go first and start talking about like why in the world you decided you needed to join this tribe anyway?
Jen, you should go first since you were the first.
Oh my gosh. All right, let me give you a little backstory. So Joe and I actually, we started kickboxing together. She was doing kickboxing. And so I just needed that girl accountability. I just needed somebody to be accountable to show up for, and to, you know, that would show up for me. And so we were doing kickboxing for like a year. And I have a huge sugar addiction, and I was like, I'm doing this for a year and like nothing's changed. I felt better, you know, because I was doing cardio and I was going like 4 days a week, but I wasn't losing any weight and I wasn't seeing any results, and I couldn't understand why. And I was getting closer to my mid 40s, and so I was like, I need to change. I knew that it was what I was putting into my body. And so I needed a huge change. And I had seen another one of the ladies that was going to kickboxing, and she was posting on her social media, and I was seeing all the changes that she was going through. And so I messaged her, and she was like, I'm working with a coach. Her name is Jules. And so that's how I got connected to Jules. And I decided to press play because I just knew I needed to change my nutrition and my eating habits. And so I was amazed at the results because, of course, you know, I thought it was hormones and like, you know, I'm getting up there in age. And so like, that's the reason why I couldn't lose weight, or, you know, all those thoughts that go through my head. Like I have that body type that, you know, I've always had an attraction to like muscles and defined toned bodies. And I just thought that I was not built for that, you know, like that, I don't know, that false sense of self, you know, that we get embedded to for whatever reason. And fucking completely changed my life. Like, Jules, you are fucking amazing. Like what you have gifted to me is beyond my expectations. Like here I'm coming in just thinking I'm just gonna, you know, get a handle on nutrition and understand nutrition and make sure that I'm fueling my body with the right foods. But she encompasses so much more. And I've really found a huge connection to her and to the tribe because it's everything. It's mind, body, and soul. And like I'm completely moved and touched by the changes and the growth that I made in such a short period of time. You know, just like seeing those physical results was like huge in the beginning, but long term, like seeing the other results, the way that my perspective is on life, the way that I look at things differently, the way that I'm growing and maturing internally, and it's showing on the outside.
Yeah,
for sure.
Bring emotion.
You know,
you've had similar experiences, or like?
Yeah, for sure. So my journey started after, you know, I mean, I had done 4 years probably of kickboxing. You know, 4 times a week, sometimes more, depending on just like my schedule. And I felt like I was in decent shape, but, you know, it was the same. Like I found that I was just eating to eat, not eating for any other reason than I was hungry and I wasn't making good choices when I was eating. And Jen, I remember like very vividly that she came to kickboxing one morning. She's like, I'm about to start 2 weeks, no sugar. I was like, you're crazy. What are you thinking? I'm like, I don't even know. So then I just kind of sat back and watched her. And I know this other person that, you know, she's talking about, and I had watched her changes too, but I was not aware of what had happened and, you know, what she was doing. But I started watching Jen, you know, she's across the hall from me, you know, we teach across the hall from each other. So I'm like, I'm like, this is working. So then I first like just ask a couple questions, like, so like, tell me a little bit about this. And I was, you know, coming up on turning 50, you know, I knew that milestone was coming up, and I didn't want to feel and look the way I looked at 50. Like I wanted to be like a badass chick at 50. Like I didn't want to look like, you know, all the other people that talk about I'm 50 and I feel so old and I, you know, just all goes downhill after this. I didn't want to be that person. So I signed up, and at first I'm like, okay, I'm just going to give it 4 months. And at first I was like, I don't need the workouts. I just need the food. I was just like, this is what I'm going to do. And then Jules talked me into it, and she's like, no, let's do the workouts. And at first she would kind of stood back and she's like, you just keep doing your kickboxing, but I need you to get in the gym. And I'm like, I hate the gym.
I forgot about that.
Like, you can't make me go to the gym. I'm like, I hate it. So I kept pushing along at kickboxing, and she kind of like slowly pushed me toward the gym a little bit at a time. And I just got to a point where I had to re-sign for kickboxing. I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm not signing up for the kickboxing. I'm going to sign up for the gym and like get my own membership, stop like tagging along with my 16-year-old son. Like I'm going to go with my own membership. And that's been huge. Like that change, like not just physically, but I've seen, and I know, like I think back to when Jules would give me workouts at the gym and I'd be like, I can't do this. Like I can't, like there's no way. And I remember one particular day I sent her a message. I'm like, I'm in the gym and I'm crying and this is horrible and I can't do this. And she was like, you need to stop. Like she called me out and she was like, you need to go take a break and figure out how to come back to me with a different attitude, because this is where your problem is. And I was like, I don't have a problem. And it took me a couple of days, but I really, it truly, like, I think back to that was like just a little less than a year ago that happened. And what a difference. Like now I go to the gym, I'm like, this is great. Like I love the gym. Like this is like my place. Like, and I would have never thought that I would get up and go to the gym in the afternoon. I would only go in the morning. Now I'm like, I'll give myself a little sleep this morning. I'm going to go this afternoon. And I never waver from that. Like I'll get to the gym in the afternoon, and I actually kind of like it sometimes because I don't feel rushed. I can take my time and get everything done in the afternoon more so than I can in the morning sometimes. But yeah, there's been a lot up here that has changed in the last than a year. So much. It's truly amazing. It really isn't just about losing weight or, you know, building muscle. It's all like starts up here. It's crazy. And I'm so thankful for Jen and her crazy thought of like going 2 weeks without sugar. I was like, what is wrong with you? But you know, there is magic in what Jules does for sure. It's amazing. Really amazing.
I love it. So first of all, I see we have 3 people watching. So guys, if you are here, hashtag I am here, and please drop your name because we can't see who you are here in StreamYard. But if you tell us who you are, we can certainly say hello to you. And then next, I want to dive a little bit more into this because you both talked about this, like it's more than, you know, just a physical transformation. There's much more to it. And, you know, there definitely is. And I think more people need to understand that because like what you change in the outside actually starts on the inside. And, you know, and I even want to hey, Corey Joe, I even want to pinpoint like what you said, because I completely forgot about that, Joe. So for all of you watching, I am and these ladies will tell you I'm a no bullshit coach. I like to believe I coach with I'm firm, but I have compassion and grace when I do it. But I don't. But my reasoning behind it, and I may piss you off a time or two because I think I pissed Jen off a couple times. I made her jump rope and she didn't want to jump rope. She was mad at me. Joe got a little upset with me, but my main goal is I want you guys to win. I want you to succeed, and I really want to push you outside of your comfort zone, because I know, like, I would never ask anything of any of you guys that I would not ask of myself. And I'm 55, so. But it's funny because that key, I think, like Joe just said it, like that was a pivotal point for her, and sometimes like moving you outside of, so like, now it's funny to hear you say, one, I forgot about it. And two, like you reflecting back on it and going, holy shit, that was a pivotal moment. Like, and it was just simply, having to go, well, shit, I don't really like what she said, but holy shit, maybe she's, and then realizing that took you from, like, you and I had this conversation. Like, I remember you last year, not even with workouts, just like you were so much more solid this year. Like, you're like, I love the gym. And it's not just that. It's like, I can handle this. I can handle that. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
Or, it was that was not the energy I got from you. It's like you stand with confidence. Yeah, like a different type of confidence that you did. Like you were very sure of.
Yeah.
Shit.
I know what I want, I definitely know what I want. And I know that it's all about being positive, and that really is my focus. Like I want to radiate positivity, but I also want that back to me. So I know that I can't deal with anything negative. So it's not just like in my workout life, it's everything, like as teachers, we deal with so much that comes on us. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm going to allow myself like a second to like feel that. And then I'm going to push it away. Like I just have to move on from it because it affects everything, that it's just like, but yeah, there's been a lot. And even from that moment, thinking back to like, that time where you were like calling me out, I've grown and changed so much since that moment too. Like that was like a point where I was like, oh, like, I don't know what I signed up for, but I know it's more than just like a meal plan and exercise plan. I was like, so I'm gonna have to really like think about me and what I'm doing. And there's been a lot of that.
It's been fun to watch you.
I feel great. Yeah.
And I think you turned 50 in the best shape.
I did.
Like a badass.
Yeah, I did. But I still feel like, okay, I was in the best shape of my life at 50, and I'm in better shape now than I was back in March. And I'm still not where I want to be yet, but I'm working on it.
Good.
So,
and I love that. Always making more and more goals. Hey, Laura. We got, hi guys, make sure you drop your name so we know who you are. Thank you for joining. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. We will make sure to get them answered. So, hey Diana. All right, so Jen, why don't you drop in a little bit about like you talked about things that have changed for you outside of that physical body of yours, like.
Well, like Joe was saying, it was just realizing that when you come in with this preconceived idea, like stepping into the gym and saying like, I can't do something, and being on our coaching calls and you telling us, you have to change that language, that the way that you've been talking to yourself. And it's become a habit over time, and what you teach us is stacking and building new habits and creating new habits that are healthy for us. And so like that thought will come into my head, like I can't do something, and I'm like, bitch, yes you can. Like let's give it a try. Okay. And so it's like with that, like even like stepping into the gym for the first time, like you don't know how to use the equipment. You're looking around intimidated by other people and everything. And then you're like, I earn my right to be here. I can be here too, and so you start to learn how to use the equipment and, get feedback. I mean, that's why you have a coach, because your coach is a professional that's been doing it for a while. And so, being able to give her my videos on how I'm doing certain things and get that immediate feedback, for corrections and stuff. So then I'm really feeling it. And I'm like, okay, I'm working the right muscles, getting that confidence back. And And then like, you know, that thought will come into my head where I can't do something. And I'm like, no, yes, you can. And so I give it a try, and maybe I can't do that much weight at first. You know, but each day I can just try to increase that weight a little bit at a time. It's just that habit stacking that we're creating. And, you know, telling that little voice, you know, changing that language, the way that we talk to ourselves, and telling that little voice that, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're getting one step closer. You know, that 1%, how are we going to get 1% better each week? You know, you talk about that. And sure as shit, freaking, I couldn't do one stinking push-up. Guess what I fucking do out on the playground all day long with the kids? we do, oh, sorry, not push-ups. We do pull-ups all day long. And I like cheer them on. And it's so funny. I know you guys want a video of it, but I can't, you know. I mean, I could probably bleep out and put their little emojis or something, but it's so funny because we go out there and I'm like, you can do it. And I just give them the confidence that I've been given. And I'm like starting them off at a young age. So imagine if we are starting them off at such a young age, like how their mind and how their confidence can grow. Like that just brings me so much joy, is just being able to like give back, you know, what has been given to me, and like mind blowing. Like this has been completely mind blowing. It's hard to even like put into words, you know, the feelings that I felt and the gratitude that I felt for this transformation, you know. It is huge. Yes.
It's big, very big. And I appreciate you sharing. Like, I'm not sure, you know, and you talk about that, like, you know, we paying it forward, and, you know, the habit stacking and the language. And, you know, you just said it spills over into all other aspects of your life. It's not just in health and nutrition, you know, like you're being coached on saying, but, you know, that little, I am sure you hear that I can't in your voice in other aspects of your life. And you're like, bitch, you can. Yeah. You know, yes, you can, bitch. It's huge. And I think, you know, I love that you guys are sharing this, because I feel like more people need to understand and encompass the fact that it's not, you know, just that fitness journey. Like you started out in the beginning talking about it, like, and it's an unfortunate thing, you know, we've been led to believe, myself included, that life ends at 40. That, you know, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but 90% of us as women, you know, things start to happen and we go, just what you said, well, this is just it. This is the way things are supposed to be at this age. This is what happens. You know, I get the belly bulge. I'm going to look this way. This is part of aging. It's part of menopause. It's part of all these things. And the reality is it really isn't. It's, you know, it's, I hate to say it, like, and I don't even like to say that they're excuses or barriers, that they are, but it's not entirely, I don't feel, our fault, because it's information that we get fed by even professional doctors, for God's sakes.
Right. Yep.
So, you know, I think part, and the reason I say this, I think a part of it being so life-changing is you, one, realize that you can. And then two, here you are at the prime of your life in the best fucking shape you've ever been. Like,
shape of our life.
Right, better than you were when you were 20 or 30. So you're living your damn best life at a really fantastic fucking age, because you got through all that other bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's like, at least for me, I went through very similar, you know, aspects as you ladies have, which is what brought me to wanting to do what I do, and, you know, to really pay it forward to a lot. And because I knew what I experienced, and I felt like, well, it's only fair that I spread this around and help other women. So I love that. And I see we have 5 people watching. I'm watching. Guys, we don't know who you are unless you drop your name. We just see Facebook user here on StreamYard. So let us know who you are. But let's pause for a minute. Do you guys have any specific questions, like for Jen or Joe, before we continue to go on? Feel free to drop them at any point in time. So I'm going to ask a question Oh, Lisa Evans is watching. I'm going to ask a question hi, Lisa. I'm going to ask a question for you guys. All right. So, like, I mean, you talked about a few things that you struggled with. I mean, what were some other, like, did you have any milestones where, I don't know what to say, like, that you could help other women understand, like, because it's not a perfect journey.
No.
But, it's a process, and,
Perfect.
it's not a perfect journey, and there are hiccups along the way. Definitely, the key is, consistency. However, like, I know that if you want to talk about it, like, I might not even know some of the specifics that you may have struggled with.
I know, like my biggest struggles have always been in my mindset. That's always been what's been holding me back. It's held me back in sometimes in what I eat or how I eat, or like I've always struggled with the scale. So that if I would get on the scale and it would say, oh, you gain like a couple ounces, even, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't eat, or I'm gonna skip this meal or whatever. That's just been my entire life. That's how things are for me. Then that number meant so much to me. And so Jules put my scale in timeout, and that was huge to like help me to like not focus on it. It was something that I had to learn, because I was a person that would get on the scale every day. And how my day went was based on what that number was going to say, so before I started this journey, like that's put me into a very like negative place about myself, so that was a real struggle. So, only checking in once a week, was better. But then even that started to become a problem, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what happened? Like, I can't do this. Like something's wrong. And I would be like, I don't like this number. This is so bad. So then my scale went on timeout, and it did help, because it really forced me to not focus on that and just focus on what do I need to do? Like, I need to eat my food. I need to go to the gym. Like, this is what I need to focus on. So it's always been up here for me, has been a struggle for sure.
And I love that. Guys, if this is like hitting home for you, drop some fire in here for Joe, because I wonder how many of you actually live your life by the scale. If you live your life by the scale and it causes these kind of issues, say I know in the chat box, or I feel you. So, it's interesting, and I want to dive a little deeper into that, Joe, because, I remember this. And just to put a little context around what Joe is saying, like this, like she talked about it. So one, bad habit had her in a place where she was in an uncomfortable, she's not, I would never say Joe was severely overweight, but she didn't, I mean, if you see her before and after, she's definitely got a big difference. But that skipping meals actually caused her to gain weight. So she was having these moments of freaking out on the scale, and the behavior that the scale was causing, or that number was causing, was actually causing the reverse of what she wanted. So now she's in this box, which many of you may recognize doing this, and so that's number one. Number two is, she did follow the plan, even though this was hard and it took a lot of coaching with her, and her scale wound up on timeout. But when her scale wound up on timeout, the context I want to put around this is she's already in the best fucking shape she'd ever been in, but she didn't see it. And she still was identifying with the scale. Yeah. So like, she'd already made huge changes. She looked really good, but she would consistently, and I'm just going to say this without her permission, tell me things in her check-ins about what she didn't like about herself. And I was like, girl, you need to look and throw the scale away. And I need you to look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, and all the amazing things that you see in the reflection, because she's a beautiful woman and she's got a great shape, but she just wasn't seeing it. And I think that was a big movement too, Joe.
Yeah. And I think I really haven't made that mental change even until recently. Mm-hmm. Like now I look, I notice more of the things I like on a daily, like several times a day, whether I'm at the gym or getting ready for work, or, I notice the things. I'm like, ooh, like there's my arm. Like, okay, not too shabby, so I noticed.
Yeah, but you know what, and another thing to think about it, and I just thought about this too, and I see we have another watcher. Welcome, guys. welcome, welcome. Let us know who you are. But like, anyway, like, so that's really important. So like Joe just said, like, it wasn't just till recently now that she's actually had this ability to look in the mirror and see things that she really likes. It's reps, guys. It's reps. And so it's not just the reps you put it in the gym, it's the reps that that's the habit stacking we're talking about. It's putting in the reps. So repeatedly getting the coaching and, repeatedly, well, I may sound like a broken record to some of you guys sometimes, but it's that constant that got you to the place that you were, like constantly having to remind yourself, like, oh yeah, you put in the reps. And now, one of the most amazing things as a coach is, like, I just love it. Like, I recognize this shift in you probably about a month or two ago. And I could feel the energy shift. And I was like, oh, damn, here we go. This is awesome. So it's not always like I get a kick out of not just the physical changes that I see in you guys, but when I see you guys make these big shifts like this in your life and you start to stand in your own power, it's like, damn. So
Yeah,
I love that for you.
It helped in every aspect of my life. Like I had mentioned earlier, being a teacher, there's so much, but I think this was the first time I can remember starting the school year and not feeling so overwhelmed by stress that I would walk away and not do the gym. Like in the past, I would just not go to kickboxing. I'm too busy. I've got too much going on. I'm too stressed out. I'm too overwhelmed. I can't. I just would sleep in and not do it. And then that never made me feel any better. So this was the first year I can remember waking up every day, going to the gym and making that a priority, and feeling the level of stress was so much lower, even with as much that has been pushed on us this year. It's been amazing. Like every week when I check in, I'm like, my stress level is really low. Like this is not so bad, like it's been great. So
hopefully I didn't lose. Okay, I didn't lose it.
There's Sandy.
Sandy. We had somebody else, Sandy here. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We started a little early. Sorry about that. But so somebody's got to mute here. So Joe, I love that. And it might be Jen that needs to mute. She went black and I'm not sure she's doing something here. Mute her.
Oh, there she's back.
Okay.
There.
Back.
I don't know. My food alarm went off and then it just.
Speaking of habit stacking, I love it. All right. So like, that's where, so yeah. What I wanted to say with you, Joe, is like, I love that for you. Like, I love that for you because that's where you want to get. That's the sweet spot because it's a non-negotiable for you to prioritize you. Like you said, you prioritize the gym, but no, girl, you're prioritizing yourself.
True.
You're looking at everything else and you're prioritizing you. And this is what you want to do and what makes you feel good. And it's not something that you feel like you have to do anymore. It's like something I get to do.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because I remember that feeling of I have to do this and it's not a good feeling. And that's when I got called out, like, get your mind straight. And I remember how I felt at the gym. It felt so uncomfortable and it felt I was so unhappy being at the gym at that point until I changed how I approached it. Then everything changed. Like I said, now it's like it's my like little place to go and just do me and so I don't like rushing it now. So I feel like, gosh, when I have to leave, I've got like, what? Like I told you, over the summer, it's 115 here. So I'm like, I'd rather be in the gym for 2.5 hours, whatever.
And your husband's wondering where you are.
Yeah, my children are like, Mom, you've been gone 3 hours. Where have you been? I'm like, I was at the gym the whole time. What are you talking about? So,
mind you, my workouts aren't 3 hours. This is by choice.
No, they're not. No, that was just me. Like, I'm like, I take my time. I walk a little extra,
You do those things. All right. Well, before I go to you, Jen, I'm going to pop over and say, welcome, Sandy. Sorry so much that we started early on you, but we had a little time thing. So We have been everybody has kind of shared, the ladies have shared their story a little bit about why in the hell they joined. Right now we're just kind of talking about like some of the struggles that they've gone through, but why don't you take a second to just talk a little bit about like how did you get here in this tribe? What brought you here? And what has it been like for you?
All right, awesome. I would love to do that. So, okay, so for me, I will tell you, as Jules knows, I've always been into fitness. I've competed 2 times. It's been a part of my life for a very long time. However, I got to a point where I was putting on some weight and I just wasn't being consistent. And I remember just feeling so sick of being sick and tired all the time and just feeling like crap and looking terrible and just all the things. And really, lack of energy was a big part of it too, and confidence, so much stuff that goes with it. And then I was, searching through TikTok one day, because that was one of my unhealthy habits. However, I found something healthy out of it, didn't I? Because I saw this one right here, Jules, and she was just like, "What are your excuses? Stop with the excuses." And, all her awesome videos. And she was just basically like, "What are you waiting for?" And I honestly, something with me that I have learned is accountability is huge. I know how to eat right. I know how to work out. I know how to be healthy. However, I'm not accountable to myself. I need a plan. I need someone to tell me what to eat, how to work out, and check in a bathing suit, 2-piece, no, mind you, every single week with your measurements. Because that's what got me through competition. Everybody's like, "How are you so disciplined?" I'm like, "Because I got to stand up on stage in a really tiny suit." So I was like, I need something. I need a trainer. I need somebody. I need a plan. So I was going through Instagram and TikTok, and I was looking at a few people, but Jules spoke to me because Jules and I are the same age. And I was like, all right, well, she looks incredible. Look at her freaking body. Holy cow. So I need to figure this out. So I reached out, and I'm so glad I did. And I remember saying to Jules, "Well, I'm 50. I was 53 at the time. I'm 53 and menopause, it's made me fat." And she's like, "No disrespect, Sandy, but menopause did not make you fat. Lack of consistency made you fat." She said those words. And I needed to hear.
What did I say earlier? I'm nothing but honest.
Yeah.
With love.
She says it in love, people. She says it in love.
Oh, God.
So anyway, and she was right. And Jules, I tell people that all the time because I hear it every day in my chair. "Oh, it's, the change and this and that." And I'm like, that's not what's doing it, people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I will tell you that it has changed my life. I have lost 45 pounds. I haven't got an accurate measurement, thank you, of my fat yet, but it's at least down like 12%, which is pretty awesome. And besides like the weight loss, and my body feels great. I'm 54 years old, going to be 55 in January, and I'm in the best shape of my life, and even more so than when I did my competitions. And the thing that even stands out more to me is it's more than weight loss. It is body, mind, and spirit. Like, I am confident. I am disciplined, not only in my workouts and my food, but other things in my life that help my business. I'm a full-time hairstylist behind the chair, and I'm building my business, and I'm working on other businesses, and I have so much more confidence now because of this, because I'm comfortable in my skin. And I will tell you, my biggest takeaway is being able, because I figured out that my why is to inspire and motivate other people around me. And it's happening. I've had a couple clients join. I've had people that ask all the time. And so that is a huge win for me. If I can help other people, because that's always what has been my why for anything, even doing hair. If I can help other people feel beautiful and feel the best they've ever have in their own skin, then it's a win right there. So,
Awesome. I
so
love it.
thank you, Jules.
You're welcome. I absolutely love it. And guys, so if any of this, guys, is resonating with you, I mean, I think you've heard from everybody in here, like the changes that happen, with you. And also, like, I think, every single one of these ladies, guys, has felt like you have felt like it's over, it's done, it's menopause, it's like, it's this and it's that. And like I said in the beginning, it's not, even though I might tell you, I'm going to be honest with you about things, it's not 100% your fault. We're led to believe this, but I really, truly mean what I say. Like, it really isn't that. It really isn't that. It's just, it's the lifestyle that we start to live, and it's that shifting of your mind, and all the great things that come out of this is awesome. I love hearing all this. So, talking about like a little bit about struggles and things, because like we talked about and Joe was saying, it's not always perfect. It's not a rosy road. Like there are things that you're going to learn along the way, but I also feel like, as you just heard, like really hearing more about Joe, is this is what makes you stand in your power. Like these little struggles, these little hiccups that you have are really what pull you back and like even make you stronger as you're going through the program. Jen, how many hiccups have you had?
Too many to count, and I'm still going. But you know what? Like you said, it's consistency. Like you habit stacked. I habit stacked, so it's like in the morning when I wake up and my head tells me that you're too tired or you're not going to do this, I don't know, something in me gets my feet up off the ground. I'm like on automatic pilot. I go to my closet, get my gym clothes on it, and there I am driving to the gym. And then when I get there, it's like what Joe was saying. Like I don't know, like this ray of sunshine comes beaming down on me. I know it's so corny, but it's like, oh, like I'm home, and then I like never regret going to the gym. And there's some days where, I don't give 100%, but I'm there and I showed up anyways, regardless of what this freaking told me. In the beginning, I really struggled with like being a busy mom and having, like finding the time for myself to be able to do this. And now it's just like, no, this is my time. Sorry, I don't know. You guys need to just figure it out because I'm going to the gym. I'm meal prepping on Sundays because that's what I do in order to set myself up for success. And I'll tell you, like, you do this long enough and like meal prepping for a family of 4, like doesn't take me hardly any time at all. Like you just get a system going, but being stuck, like sugar, my emotional snacking has like been like the biggest hurdle and the biggest, place where I've gotten stuck the most. And I continually get stuck there because again, it's just been embedded in my brain that, like I've been an emotional eater my entire life. Like when I was a teenager and I felt emotions, I am that person that will stuff myself until I'm uncomfortably full in order to fill that void or, to try and change the way that I feel, because that's that instant gratification that I get from eating sugar or eating salty foods or eating those foods that bring me that comfort. And, growing up with, family gatherings, it being all about the food, like that's, the center of like joy and coming together has been about food. And so like really learning how to still enjoy having family gatherings and being with people, but not having to overindulge in food. Like using food as fuel for my body and understanding that food is fuel and I don't have to use it as an emotional crutch. and I'm going to get emotional because that's huge for me. Huge. And like it takes consistent work all the time because I fall short and I don't go and hide. I mean, checking in every week has helped me to be accountable. Okay, I fucked up. It's all right. What do I need to do about it? I'm going to continue to move forward. Continue to move forward.
Yeah.
All the time, constantly. But it just keeps getting better and better. Like it does get a little bit better every single time. And I've learned something new every single time. And that's like the most important thing.
It is, and I think like guys, that those of you that are watching, if you're watching on the replay, like I said, hashtag replay if you watch it on the replay. And like if you can identify with Jen, like drop us some fire. Like just say I can identify. And what I'm talking about I can identify with is, that emotional eating, because I know those of you that are watching this right now can identify because so many of you show up in my direct messages with the same thing. And again, I say this a lot. You hear me say this a lot in the tribe. And I don't know that I say it a lot online, but it's hard. Like you have to think about like, how do we celebrate a birthday?
With cake.
We are taught at a very early age that food is an emotion. And I'm not saying eating birthday cake, like, please, nobody out there in, the world's sake, I'm saying that that's a bad thing. But, like, think about it. We are programmed when you have a baby. Like, as babies, kids, if we were I was given food to be quiet, or food would even be, I'm probably dating myself here because this was before, but like, I don't know how many of you ladies here were sent to bed without dinner because you did something wrong. Like food was an emotional, like given and taken. Like, holy shit, when you start to have that realization, this is how we got here. So I think a lot of women can identify with that emotional piece. And that's like the other thing that you talked about, Jen, and I think all of you guys can talk about is you keep saying habit stacking. So for those of you that are new or listening in and like curious about what all this is that's a big thing that we work on. And it is about getting 1% better. And it's about teaching you stacking habits one on top of the other. So eventually they become what you're hearing in these women right here. They become non-negotiables in your life. They're things that you just do on automatic pilot because they bring you joy. They make you feel good. And for none of these women was this was the gym, eating healthy, or any of these things a non-negotiable. They were like, are you flipping crazy, lady? But now, they see it and you've heard it from them. Like, this is my time. And the idea is they prioritize themselves. And this isn't just about the weight. This is about being healthy at their age, feeling good, feeling confident. Like all of these things come from these non-negotiables in your life. And it's habit stacking and consistency and putting in the reps like we talked about. So, that's where you get, and you're never gonna, you're always gonna have something. And yes, we still work on your something's always going to come up, but and that is, and the only other thing I'm going to tap into what you said, Jen, is your sheer honesty. And I have to say, all three of you ladies really have dove into this program, as it's meant to be. And I don't think any of you have totally bullshitted me on a check-in, but calling yourself out, like well, even if you do it, by the way, I know. Like I know. I do know. I sometimes will just slide a little bit and wait for you to just like tell on yourself. But that is huge because it is like the more I know, like, as I said earlier, I always call the shots as they are. However, it is, I want you to be the best that you are. So when you guys can be honest with me, I'm going to call the shots. But I also want to give you a solution to get there on the other side. I may ask you to give it to me first. I may, call you out and have you go leave the gym, think about it, come back, and then give me the solution. But I'm here to coach you to the other side. So yeah, so for those of you that are listening in, like those are some of the things that Jen was really talking about.
Yeah.
Sandy, do you have any struggles?
No, completely perfect every single day. No. Jen's like, yeah, whatever. So yes, I can totally relate to what Jen said. With it's amazing the whole emotional eating, like what you even explained, Jules. I mean, even growing up as a kid, and everything is around food. And it's really interesting because I went to a birthday party for one of my stepdaughter's little friends, and I had my food because it was time for me to eat when I got there. So I had my chicken, rice, and green beans, and was in my container. And so I'm like, I heated it up and I'm eating my food, and they're like, people are looking at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm eating my lunch. Like, oh. And one of the girls was like, that's not very much food, Sandy. That's all you're going to eat? I'm like, oh no, it's plenty. It's great. It's fuel. It's going to give me energy. But it's just funny how people are like, I hear it all the time, especially from clients, where when it comes to food and comes to like the consistency on, they're like, oh, well, I eat healthy. And I'm like, well, how often do you eat? Oh, that's right. That's like one of the biggest things. And the hardest part for me to hear is, well, I'm not hungry. And I'm like, well, I don't care if you're hungry. Like it's fuel, And so
Yeah.
when Jen was talking about relationship with food, is she looks at it differently, where it's fuel. And that has been a huge thing for me too. Like it's just a non-negotiable. It's full food. Now, do I fail or slip? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I do. Jules knows, and that's the other part about the accountability for you guys listening and thinking about this. That's the accountability I'm talking about, because I can't fill out a form with a picture that shows me in a two-piece bathing suit, front, back, and side, guys. Everything shows. I can't really truthfully say that I followed the plan 100%, when she can clearly see in the video, or excuse me, in the pictures, that I didn't. So that's the accountability I'm talking about. But yes, just like Jen, oh yeah, I'm fighting it all the time. I constantly, like, I'll be really good, and then all of a sudden I find myself in the peanut butter. No, Jules, me and the peanut butter, with a tablespoon in the peanut butter. Like, oh, it's only an extra tablespoon. It'll be fine. And then like 6 days later, right? So yes, will you never fail again? No, we're human, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
However, what I've realized, or what I've gotten to, is I'm consistent on a pretty much regular basis. So when it happens, and there is a time where I might be in a spot where there's something I want to enjoy, or then I don't feel bad about it. Like, I will be honest, I had a glass of rosé prosecco. Sorry, Jules, I know it's more sugar than you want, but I did have one glass at the party. But the other part was, I've been so on point, and that one is not going to throw me off as long as I don't keep doing it, right? And so yes, you are going to continue to have days that it's not going to work, and you're going to have the emotional eating. However, once you get consistent, you're going to realize that it's really not that important. Like, you're going to say, you know what, do I really want this? Like, you're going to start asking those questions. Those are things that are going to come up for you that probably don't come up for you now, but they do once you get consistent, and once you start seeing changes in your body, in your mind, in the confidence, all the things that come with it. It's not going to matter to you anymore. Those little things are going to become less important as you get what you want from your life. So, but you will fight them. You will continue to fight them, but it's okay. They'll get better.
So I love it. And I want to circle back to a couple of things. First of all, I feed you guys, by the way. So Sandy gets plenty of food, don't think. And she doesn't just eat chicken and rice. It's so funny.
No.
I have a video that came out that just says, eating healthy isn't just chicken and rice. But a lot of these ladies actually like chicken and rice. So there's that.
It's my favorite meal.
See them
My
all
favorite meal too.
actually. Eating it, but like a couple of things that I wanted to just point out on that is, not eating, like eating is actually a huge thing. And we talked about it before, even with Joe, like not eating is what crashes the metabolism. So at the end of the day, like the reason why many struggle, and even these three ladies struggled when they first came, is the fact that their metabolism was broken. Okay, that I'm going to say out loud. It was broken. But is a broken metabolism not able to be fixed? That's where the false myth is. It can completely be fixed, but it takes these consistent habit stacking to get it to a point where that fuel, that motor starts running. Like believe me, all three of these ladies eat way more right now than when they came to me. And some of them are eating probably more than they've ever eaten in their life. And they probably have a metabolism that is faster than they were 20. Like I think Joe recently was like, more food? It's like a lot of times I get that more food, because that's my goal, is to continue to increase your caloric intake while the body fat is coming down, because ultimately, as all of these women know, the key to a healthy metabolism is building that muscle. And, you don't have to be big and huge and have that's such a myth out there. But what that muscle does is it helps burn body fat even at rest. And that's the thing. That right there is the thing that we do fight as we age. So it isn't the metabolism, as many of these women have heard, that is slowing down with age. It's the fact that we have lost muscle as we age. The hormones cause us to lose muscle at a rate of up to 5% a year. So that, coupled with the fact, let's all be honest, we are not as active as we age, right? You couple those two things together and you look back at your 20s and 30s, you were more active and you weren't dealing with that. So that is what slows the metabolism. So simply what we do through nutrition and exercise is we start to build that muscle back up and turn you into fat burning machines. That said, what Sandy was talking about with the rosé, which I don't really care about. I do try to get you to keep your sugars lower, but what she's talking about is once you get to a place, like, it's not about restricting yourself. It's about really thinking about why you want that. So like, I'd really like to sit down and have this glass of wine. Is it because everybody else in the room is drinking the glass of wine and you feel the pure? No, it's more like, I always say, it's the ambiance. I want to mean a different word, but it's about like, I just really want to enjoy this at this moment. And there's no other reason behind it. And half the time when you approach it from that place, you probably don't even get to the end of the glass of wine most of the time, as Sandy's saying, where you like look at it and you're like, no, I really don't want it. So if you reach for it, it's because you really do want that. And by the way, they all get refeeds too. A lot of them eat burgers and fries and all kinds of damn things. So like you do get but that's the other piece about it, isn't it, ladies? Now you learn how to refeed your body. We like to call it refeeds. Why?
Because it's not a treat meal.
It's not a negative. Yeah, it's not a cheat.
It's not a cheat.
Just
not a cheat meal.
It's not a scolding.
Right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we would believe that our regular nutrition plan is actually a negative or it's a punishment. And so we call them refeed meals, because cheat meals would indicate that your regular meal plan is absolutely. But anyway, so regular refeed meals is a must. Absolutely. But the thing that I was going to say is that's the other benefit, isn't it? You're learning what you can refeed your body with that's going to propel you forward, actually do you some good versus set you back. Yes, every once in a while you're going to dip into the, and do something a little, but that's what Sandy means. It's not going to throw you off, but you really have a good understanding of what Sandy said. Like, well, I know this is going to work for me a little bit, but that probably wasn't the wisest move I made. So, but I think that's a huge thing, is like, you can go out to eat, you can enjoy yourself when you get to this period, because you now understand. Joe, you've been quiet for a while, right?
Yes, 100%.
Joe likes to go. Yes. Joe has a husband.
I like yes, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
No, yep. He's always he's on board now. He makes my meal prep. He smokes all my meats on the smoker, and
Wow.
yeah,
I'm
it's
jealous.
good. Yep.
So I'm going to kind of break here, guys. If you have any questions, I see we still have some viewers in here. Make sure you drop them down. These ladies would be happy to answer it for you. If you've got any questions about their journey, where they've been, things that they could answer, things that they might have struggled with, feel free to ask. If you're watching it on the replay, remember, hashtag replay, but you could certainly ask your questions. We will come back and take a look and make sure we answer them. So that being said, ladies, we have been chatting away for almost an hour. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So I want to kind of tie this up a little bit. My intention was 30 minutes, but this was good stuff. So is there anything that, you guys really feel the need that, you really want to close this on, specifically for anybody that might be watching this, that is, thinking about this, sitting on the fence, can I really do this? What if I fail? You remember those thoughts that you had before you started? You have any wise words of wisdom to what is going through their heads?
Well, I would
just say that.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I would just say that if you're thinking about it, wondering about it, just try it. And then if you don't like it, you can gladly have your old life back again. Free of charge.
Exactly.
You can gladly have your
Yep.
old life back again. What's 4 months? Is 4 months, 6 months going to really make that huge of a difference? Hell yeah, it will, because you'll see the changes within 4 to 6 weeks. But I'm just saying, like, that short period of time to just give yourself a chance to try something different. If you don't like it, it will just be there waiting for you after you're done. Just saying.
That's true. I never thought about it that way. Well put.
Yeah.
I think
That
every
is.
time we see new tribe members join, I'm always like, best decision of your life. Like, absolute best decision you have ever made is when they sign up. Like, there's no regrets about any of it. Like, you can go there's like nothing that you can do that's better than something for yourself.
True. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's so true. That's always my first thing I say, Joe. It's the best decision you've ever made. Because honestly, like, if you guys are ready, like, if you want to change, and you're ready, what a better way to do it than do it with a group of people that are doing it. Right? Like, you can't change. Nothing's going to change in your life unless you make a change. I mean, it's really that simple. And I will tell you that this tribe has really helped. I mean, yeah, Jules was the driving force, right? She's the one that created all the stuff for me. But then, and I didn't even get this in the beginning with how important the tribe is. And you guys know, Jules knows, I wasn't as active because, I was whatever excuses I had. But once I really dove in, I realized, like, wow, this connection with these ladies. And, there's calls involved with this where you can have questions. We have meltdowns about things that are happening with us. So, like, if you're worried about what if I can't do it, you have a group of people here that will support you and help you in doing that, because we're in it for the same reasons. So, they always say, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with people that are successful, right? Yeah. And this is my group. I mean, these are the people that keep me going.
These are my peeps.
My peeps. Yeah,
that's right.
I would have. Yeah, and I will say, like, one of the things that I like really makes me happy as a coach, because this organically kind of happened itself, but and maybe it didn't. Some of you may say, well, no, this didn't happen. This was something, had something to do maybe with me. But I will say, like, the tribe, like, and I have heard time and time again that, like, this is one of the most powerful tribes that anybody's ever belonged to, that even in a fitness, like, I've had women that have joined, I remember, and said, like, I've been in several of these before, and what you have is one powerful tribe of women that, and that I take a lot of pride in, because, like, as Sandy just said, if you come in here, you're not alone unless you choose to be. If you choose, like Sandy said that too, if you choose to be alone, you can be alone on this journey. But if you need support, there's a whole tribe of women that are going to, like, I'm not bullshitting in my videos when I say you have a whole tribe of women that are going to support you, celebrate your wins with you. And if you fall down and have a meltdown, they're going to be like, yeah, can I help?
Exactly.
Yes. How can I help? What can I do? And you'll have a whole swarm of them on you.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty amazing. And it helps you get through, because I'm not always going to have all the solutions or the answers. And sometimes you don't want to hear what I have to say. If somebody else says the same damn thing to you, you'll be like, okay, I got that. All right, guys. I think this was pretty fantastic. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. I know that everybody that has watched this has appreciated it too. And guys, if you want us to do more of this, whether you're here right now or you watch it on the replay, just let us know. We can definitely bring in more of these goats to talk. But this was really fun, ladies. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great
We
Saturday.
Thank you
appreciate
for having us.
Yes.
Thank you for having
Bye.
us.
Bye, guys.